Rising. Only 2 cars left in the pit lane before we have a full grid. Take a look up to the lights, then we'll see the countdown coming on. We're going to count down. 5 seconds. Season 3, race 1 is under starters orders. Lights down. EERC is go, go, go. A good start from Richard. Nurcaster tries to keep the inside line down towards Tunnel. They're on the look at Michael. Coming up right round the outside. In towards Cox Corner. A spectacular move. Oh, big crest. And that's really Morphy. Into the bollard then. So Hamilton swings it round the
Hello and welcome to Silverstone for round 5 of season 4 of the EERC British Touring Car Championship. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me is broadcast director and co-commentator Pascal Eggett. We've got an 18-strong field at the moment that is about to start their first laps in qualifying. Unfortunately, we are at the moment down one Oliver Hargitay because apparently Oliver Hargitay's one of the earmuffs in his headset has fallen off, and he refuses to qualify unless it's attached back on. And apparently he's gone out to the shops to try and get some duct tape. So good luck with that. And I don't see why he couldn't have just pressed it against his ears, made the headphones a bit tighter, which is what I do when the soft padding is falling out. But apparently that's too difficult for Oliver, so we'll have to qualify without him. He'll start at the back of the grid, and he'll no doubt not score any points and have a terrible, terrible evening. But anyway, that's pretty much our season at the moment at Hunterbird Simulation, but you don't want to hear about that as we look at Peter Neuendorf, the Port Racer driver, starting his first flying lap.
I mean,
with the 18 drivers out on track at the moment.
we are on the.
What is that? Sorry, Pascal, you want to say something?
We are on this special event today, so it's a double length race. So even if you start from the back, I think you have some chances for points.
That's very true. So this has obviously been done as a consequence of the Imola, when nobody got to use the soft tyres at Imola. So they give everyone a sort of extra set here, essentially. So I think all 3 races will be with the soft tyre, as I understand it.
The first race is going to be double length, and you're going to have to use both compounds in your race.
That's it, yes.
Then in the second one, everyone is going to be on softs, yes.
So we look forward to that. But meanwhile, Bradley Sellers sets the fastest first sector on the first runs, 35.145. So good stuff from the Small Power Rookie Monsters driver. Nick Homewood has gone out on, I believe, is that the harder tyres in the number 45, so I'm not sure what he's playing at. Bradley Sellers is also getting a lovely tow from the 2 KV86 powerhouses of Alex Lahou and Loic Moynier in front of him. But look behind Bradley Sellers, that's Louis Hartley, who's just gone purple in the middle sector, 56.4. So about 2 tenths quicker than Bradley Sellers then. But Bradley Sellers was a whole 3 tenths quicker than Louis Hartley in the first sector. So it's all going to come down to, on the first runs, to this run through Vale and Club, the final couple of corners at Silverstone on the Grand Prix layout. Whereas he's crossed the line, and he's probably going to go provisional fastest time here. Ooh, very close actually. Moynier fought back a little bit in the final sector, but it's Hartley that goes fastest. 37.0, a tenth quicker than Bradley Sellers in the final sector, so he's 25 thousandths ahead then. Van Leeuwen actually is faster than both the KV86s, which is interesting. That's good for Finnevond Green, because they've got a car in first and third at the moment. Yannick Pleiss, Operation McNuggies, goes 4th fastest as we look at Mark Horvath, who's just starting his first run. And then here's Krzysztof Szylski, Optiminal Esports. Looks like Alexander Surema has joined the grid, and he's going to set a lap. Oh, as Szylski just lifts the left-hand side wheels through Vale.
What's definitely interesting to see is that everyone opted to go back into the pits after the first lap. So usually we saw people doing 2 or 3 laps in qualifying.
Such a long lap as well.
Yeah.
And with so many fast corners, it must take a lot of life out of the tyres, essentially, on the soft compound. There's Stefan Nilsson. Stand by Stefan, as we sometimes call him, for Lastant Racing. What can our resident Super Swede do here on his first run? Well, it's a 35.9 in the first sector and then a 57.0 in the second sector. So he's sort of doing all right here.
The top 10 is
sort of
possible.
Definitely top 10. I agree, Pascal. As he powers through the final corner, lifts over the curb. It's going to be a 2 minutes 10, which is good enough for 9th position. There we go. So almost bang on there, Pascal, with the top 10 prediction there. As we see 2 cars, that's Luca Gray merging from the pits with one of the Crown Dental Group cars. Peter Schooneman, winner in this championship before of races. He goes 13th fastest for Finnevond White. That's a 1.1 seconds behind Thomas Raschke in the highest of the Hunter Birch simulation cars. Neuendorf. The Neuendorf for pot racer. He did pretty solidly last time out, actually, it must be said. For a first time attempt here, and he's 8th at the moment. Does not go faster in the final sector, crucially. That means he stays down in 8th behind Darren Wright.
It was his second time. He was already in Road Atlanta too, where he was also pretty solid.
Fair enough. I wasn't in Road Atlanta, so
yes,
commentating.
And he's already leading the independent championship.
Of course. So it shows you how wide open the independent championship is when you can get ahead in the lead of it, having only done 2 races. But yeah, I guess we do have a slightly smaller grid this season. So independent championship, basically, if you show up, you're pretty likely to do well there.
Yep.
As Van Leeuwen sets a purple first sector, it's very, very comparable to what Hartley and Sellers were doing. In fact, it's actually a little bit faster, I believe, than Louis Hartley's first sector. Alex Lahou, though, blows it out of the water 35.1, and Loic Moynier is similarly up in his first sector as well. Also setting a 35.1, slightly slower than Lahou, who, of course, former teammate of Loic Moynier's at Team Iris. And Lahou, of course, drives for Rotor Formula in GPV Superlights, where he's leading that championship, having won 3 of the first 5 races, of course. Moynier, of course, is our championship leader in EERC British Touring Cars at the moment, over Louis Hartley. Bradley still is quite a long way behind them in third, I believe. Or it might still be Mike Bell third, actually, technically, but Mike Bell has quit, so it's difficult to see how he could really be much of a factor. As you see, Van Leeuwen has actually gone a bit slower in the middle sector. So yeah, 57.1. Moynier, meanwhile, sets a 56.5. Lahou also sets a 56.5, slightly slower than Moynier's best effort, though. But Loic Moynier's looking good to get himself onto the front row here. This is a much better second run here from the KV86 powerhouse duo. The Croatian squad, of course. As we see Mark Horvath go 7th fastest for Finnevond Green. Loic Moynier through the final corner now. Very neat and tidy. Sticks it onto within the lines. And it's going to be 3rd fastest, so just short of Bradley Sellers, who actually sets an even faster time to take pole position off of Louis Hartley. 2 minutes, 8 seconds, 0.8. So almost exactly to 8 tenths of a second there. Whereas Louis Hartley just 47 thousandths behind.
Such a fine margin on the top on such a long lap. That's quite impressive.
Certainly is. And Louis Hartley would love another pole position to add to his collection, as we now cut to Luca Gray, who he himself has actually set a very, very solid first sector here to 35.299. Let's hope the Ford Focus's tyres can hold on in the next part of the circuit. Down the hangar straight he goes. Personal best in Sector 2, 56.9. Luca Gray is currently 18th, or he would love to launch himself into the top 10 here. Has a couple of goes turning it into Stowe. Man who, of course, won race 3 at Road Atlanta, but otherwise he's not had a good time. Things blew his engine 2 races in a row, and also started on the wrong tyres in the other race at Snetterton last time out. Through Vale and now Club he goes. Where is this going to put the Englishman Luca Gray in his home race? The home team, of course. It's 7th, P7 on the grid, just ahead of Mark Horvath then. So that's encouraging for Luca Gray. He can certainly race from there, if, of course, as he tries to go to the 2009 layout. But the problem is Luca Gray's also got a 5-place penalty from the last race because he got in the way of what was technically his teammate Louis Hesketh. After blowing his engine, he didn't get off the racing line quickly enough. So Luca Gray's been given a 5-place penalty for that, which is a shame because I don't remember Louis Hesketh even registering that report, but I guess it must have been a steward's decision.
Yeah, this season we look at every incident that gets logged in the race logs, which doesn't mean every
Oh, I feel
incident is
sorry for
either.
you, Pascal. Must be late
Yeah.
nights for everyone here at EERC then. Not to mention the other championships, such as the endurance that you guys also are involved in the stewarding of, as we look at Darren Wright, who's going a little bit quicker. Pajald, for Operation McNuggies, has gone 10th fastest on a 2:10.3. There's the 2KV86 is getting well out of the way for the rest of the field, but Darren Wright is looking a bit quicker here. He can potentially get ahead of Luca Gray here, and Mark Horvath ahead of him. If he gets a good end to the lap here, it's going to be, yes, 6th fastest, 209.5. Just 11 thousandths quicker than Yannick Place. This must be Morel. Oh, Morel just gets understeers off into the gravel there at the Vale chicane. As his rash gay, all the rear stepping out through Beckett's there. And he's going to be completely off track going into Chapel. So I think Mr. Rashko's cooked the rear tyres there. Anybody going faster? Cole McMillan has set an okay lap at 2 minutes 13.4 in the second Rookie Monsters car. Smart power entry is now Peter Schumann in the number 69. He's trying to get himself out of 16th position on the grid. He is 3 tenths down on Alexander Serema. His first sector slower, 10th slower than Serema as well, although it is a personal best for him. Have to make up the time in the last 2 sectors then for the Wolofinavon driver. Nick Homewood is actually ahead of him, his teammate. He's gone 15th fastest on a 2:11.8. So that is encouraging. His teammate able to show that the 45 has got pace here. 57.6 in the middle sector for Peter Schumann, which is actually half a second quicker than Homewood, even though he's 2 tenths slower in the first sector. So the final sector will be the crucial one then, as we cut to Neuendorf, trying to break back in to the top 10. Horvath behind is also setting a personal best middle sector, as we are going into the closing phase of this session then. Just over a minute left to go. So anybody who wants to set a lap has to be in the middle of their out lap already now, because it is just over 2 minutes to do a lap round here. Neuendorf goes 10th fastest. There we go, 209.7. And Horvath goes a bit quicker, 209.3, but remains in 5th position behind Loic Moynier.
At top 10 within 1 second. That's what we want to see here.
Oh, yellow in the first sector. That clears quickly, luckily. Bradley Sellers, he's gone back to the pits, so he will go no quicker. Alex Lahou, though, oh, 2 purple sectors, but the final sector, only a personal best. Good enough for third, 83 thousandths behind Louis Hartley then. And just over a 10th off of pole position. So that's Alex Lahou's best effort. That puts him just at the head of the second row. Nick Homewood is still going a little bit faster than before. Louis Hartley has also given up the ghost of that. Looks like our top 3 settled, unless Loic Moynier can begin a very quick lap here. Mark Horvath sets a 35.2 in the first sector. Is a personal best for him. Luca Gray sets a 35.0 in the first sector. Let's hope he's not taking too much life out of his tyres, pushing too hard. But Gray is going for it. The highest. He's the second highest of our British drivers, behind Darren Wright, of course. Homewood, here he comes, another British driver. What can the Finavond peddler do? Across the line, he's 17th at the moment. Is it going to be better on the grid? No, he lost too much time in the final sector, so Nick Homewood will have to settle for 17th place, as there's Luca Gray. Oh, just getting a little bit off track at Cops there. I thought, oh, the small power in the background. That must be Cole McMillan dropping it. Luca Gray struggles to hold on to the car through Maggots and Beckett. Oh, just about gets the rotation that he needs to get through Beckett and into Chapel. So let's hope that didn't hurt the tyres too much. It's a personal best in Sector 2, 56.6. But that's a 10th off of what Bradley Sellers was doing, and 2/10 of what Hartley and Lahou were doing in the middle sector. So it's all or nothing then as we go through Stowe. Just about keeping it within the white lines now into Vale chicane and then Club. Luca Gray rides the curbs. Now just the final turn to go then. 56 powers through. Where a Hunter Birch simulation going to start? Well, where's the Greg going to qualify, rather? It's going to be 5th fastest. Excellent lap. There we go. 209.1. 2 tenths quicker than Mark Horvath. What a shame. Luca Gray will, of course, start the race from 10th after his penalties apply. But Yannick Pleiss, whoa! Out of nowhere. Purple first sector. Personal best in the last 2 sets of 208.777. And Operation McNuggies in a dramatic turn of events take pole position by 24 thousandths of a second. But Loic Moynier is not done yet. He's purple in the middle sector, slightly down in the first sector, so he could yet steal pole position. It looks like the track has started to bed in as this session's gone on, Pascal.
Yep.
And here comes Loic Moynier.
Can he get pole position?
Oh, no, he can only get 4th ahead of his teammate Alex Lahou then.
That is crazy tight. 1.5 tenths for the top 5.
Yes, and Moynier outqualifies his teammate Alex Lahou by 8 thousandths of a second as well. Oh, wow. There we go. Yannick Pleiss out of nowhere, pole position. And that was very, very unexpected because Yannick Pleiss had sort of been a little bit inconsistent so far this season, hadn't he?
Very impressive. Yeah, normally in the middle field.
And, of course, we haven't got Tuomela and Slovenak from KV86 and McNuggies, respectively, on the grid because they've both been serving bans for this round. And there we go. So, confirmation of the final grid. It is Yannick Pleiss on pole position for the first time this season in the 260 for Operation McNuggies. Bradley Sellers for Smile Power Rookie Monsters is second. Louis Hartley will start third. Loic Moynier, championship leader, will start 4th. Alex Lahou, with 75 kilograms of ballast, will start 5th. Luca Gray qualifies 6th, but will start in 11th position on the grid. Mark Horvath qualifies 7th for Finavon Green, backing up Louis Hartley. Flies Van Leeuwen in the third of our Finavon Green cars will qualify 8th, ahead of Darren Wright for Crown Dental Group. And the top 10 is rounded out by Peter Neuendorf. 11th is Stanislas Pajald, Operation McNuggies. Stefan Nilsson qualifies 12th ahead of Thomas Raschke, so good qualifying from Nilsson. Krzysztof Zizilski qualifies 14th ahead of Peter Schunemann. Alexander Sorema qualifies 16th ahead of Nick Homewood. Marcin Morel is 18th ahead of Cole McMillan. And Oliver Hargitay arrives just too late to set a lap for Hunter Birch Goltacular, so he will start from, I believe, the very, very tail of the grid. Unless we've got Nick Homewood serving a 10-place grid drop, but he will still start ahead of Hargitay by virtue of the fact that Oliver didn't set a lap time.
Probably not, because the 10th-place
grid
penalty is probably gonna over the whole grid. But I don't think.
Okay, 19th on the grid then, for Oliver Hargitay.
That's
there we go. That settles that then.
Yeah, gonna be interesting though.
And Pleiss has got no ballast, if I understand correctly, in the Operation McNuggies. But this is, of course, a special event, so they will have to run the 2 compounds of tyres, and it's a double-length race, as you say, Pascal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if we see a lot of softs at the front. If I would be at the back, I would definitely take the mediums, make them run long, and then make a push with the softs at the end. But you also don't know if you should start with the softs and let them run as long as they carry you, since I don't think anyone has quite the experience how long they are able to last around here.
Yeah, well, those who don't have experience will have to learn pretty quickly, it must be said, because they're going to find out exactly what happens when you abuse these tyres on a qualifying lap through what is it going to be, 17 laps of racing then, as we wait for the grid to populate. And the start could be important here because it's very easy to be overcome on the first lap if you don't get the greatest of getaways.
The
lights
tires.
About to go on. And of course, the tyres will probably reset halfway through the first lap.
I think they're up to date, but I mean, they're all on mediums at the front, so they wouldn't have qualified, but the lights are going out.
Here we go then. The first of our 3 races at Silverstone getting underway now. And it's a pretty clean getaway from Pleiss, who cuts off Bradley Sellers by forcing his way to the inside before turn one. Hartley's going to try and go around the outside of the Smart Power car. And he's going to have the inside here through farm and into village and into the complex here. It is Pleiss that leads Hartley. And now we go into the loop then. These two sort of 90-degree corners, one after the other. And oh, is that Luca Gray going off track in the background then, as looks like Sellers is being overtaken then by Louis Hartley. And Hartley takes that second position, but Moynier is waiting in the wings behind. And don't forget about Alex Lahou, even with 75 kilograms of ballast, could be a threat here. But Pleiss has made a break for it without his ballast. As look at this, it's a three-way fight for second now between Hartley, Sellers, and Moynier. And Moynier tries to go up the inside through Brooklands. He's going to have to complete the move through Luffield here on Bradley Sellers. Then remember, who's got a fair amount of ballast himself, but not as much as Loic Moynier. And Moynier is going to have to go around the outside once more into Copse, as he just got enough overlap to cut off the Smart Power here. He may well do. Behind him, then it's Lahou, Horvath, Van Leeuwen, Gray, Wright, and Neuendorf make up your top 10 here, as Schoenemann loses a few positions. There we go. Yannick Pleiss already 1.7 seconds ahead. And looks like Moynier is making this progress because he decided to start the race on the softer tyre, as did Nielsen and Schoenemann. Everyone else is on the mediums.
Nice clean start here. That's what we like to see. And already a train forming now.
Darren Wright has just overtaken Luca Gray through Maggots and Beckett's. And look at this, Louis Hartley trying to get out of the slipstream of Moynier. Moynier, who's really been a threat on those softs in the early phase of this race. And as Luca Gray tries to go back up the inside of Wright, now going around the outside through Stowe, just about stays within track limits there. But Yannick Pleiss continues to just pull away. 1.8 seconds now ahead of the pack as Luca Gray gets himself back into 9th position as somebody dived into the pit lane in the background there. That was Peter Schoenemann. Peter Schoenemann is clearly running into an issue on this very first lap. Or he just wants to get those softs out the way. Yeah, he's going for the mediums.
Very interesting strategy.
Let's see if it works for Peter. He will have a bit of an undercut, potentially. As oh, look at this, Moynier sliding the rear tyres through Village and now into the loop.
He's getting out of the traffic and can just do his own race, but I would assume the softs have at least 3-4 laps of faster pace than the mediums.
Unless he's planning to do one less stop than everyone else. Maybe he thinks the mediums can go to the end. As look at this, more moves. That's Horvath having a look at Alex Lahou with all of his ballast. Horvath has to dive up the inside, but Moynier is side by side with Louis Hartley now, and he's going to do to him exactly what he did to Bradley Sellers on the first lap. Moynier really fired up at the moment as it's 2 rows wide. Lahou has held off Horvath, and now he's having a go at Bradley Sellers as well. So KV86 Powerhouse on the move on these 2 different strategies. Lahou on the harder medium tyre, but Moynier making the best of these softs then. Louis Hartley fends him off as Horvath now has another look at the inside of Alex Lahou into Copse corner.
Still a very busy grid there up front. Sellers also right there with them.
Yeah, that's not worked out for Horvath. Van Leeuwen and Gray have got through. Luca Gray side by side as they go through Maggots and Beckett's. And just about able to hold them off. And Gray, losing control of the rear tyres and now under attack from, who is that? The Greats. Horvath, of course, as Gray goes a little bit off track. That's going to hurt his run all the way down Hanger Straight here. So Mark Horvath is really going to try and breeze around the outside, and so too is Loic Moynier on his soft. They're still working well here. Oh, he tags the back of Louis Hartley to try and make him unstable, and that is going to open the door for Bradley Sellers to go up the inside of Loic Moynier, and potentially he's now going to try and go around the outside of Louis Hartley too. But all this battling is playing into Yannick Pleiss' hands. He's now almost 3 seconds ahead of all of them as Bradley Sellers retakes second position and Moynier goes up the inside of Hartley.
And all of that battling really doesn't help. Like Moynier on the soft tires can't really take advantage at the moment.
Yeah, so Moynier just as Hartley bumps him into turn 1 there. But Bradley Sellers once again ahead of him, so he's going to have to repeat his move from earlier as Moynier almost defending now from Louis Hartley rather than attacking Bradley Sellers here. Sellers goes all the way to the outside, and that opens the door again for Alex Lahou now to go up the inside of Louis Hartley. So for the man second in the championship, this is not ideal for him as now Van Leeuwen is starting to get involved in this fight. We're on board now with Hartley, who is shadowing Alex Lahou into Brooklands. Luca Gray is now defending as well from Horvath, who's just gotten back through. Oh, almost. There we go. Is that Van Leeuwen sliding wide, and Luca Gray up to 6th then through Luffield.
Almost
Mistake
every
there
corner
from
I'm
Vice
having
Van
a
Leeuwen.
change for position in the grid. Very nice racing.
Yeah, it's very clean as well. As look at Neuendorf now starting to catch up to this battle behind Darren Wright. But Yannick Pleiss sets another purple sector, 4.4 seconds. He is streaking away at the moment and on the medium tires as well. So Mounier, if he wants to get in the conversation for the win here, needs to clear Bradley Sellers quickly. As we see in the background, Stefan Nielsen is in a fight with, that looks like Hargitay and Surema. Hargitay has got to 14th from 19th on the grid near the very, very back. So he's making good progress here. But of course, he's got only about 15 kilograms of ballast, so he isn't as much of a disadvantage. As look at this, more shadowing, swapping and changing. Mounier now, well and truly up the inside of Bradley Sellers. And now, if he can just complete this move, we might see Mounier able to unleash his pace as Lahou goes wide. And that allows Louis Hartley to streak away side by side into Vale. But it is Mounier, just forcing his way ahead very firmly but politely. And now, Loic Mounier has got to hope there's still some life in these soft tyres so he can close that gap. He did set a purple middle sector, 56.9, a tenth quicker than Pleiss. So now maybe he can fight back as long as he doesn't make any more mistakes here. Luca Gray, by the way, is right behind Alex Lahou now as well. He's making good progress. No ballast on Luca Gray's car as well compared to Alex Lahou with 75 kilograms. That is going to hurt the Frenchman down these straights here.
Yeah, plays with a fastest lap on the last lap around as well, so he's really pushing, trying to extend that gap.
Yeah, perhaps he's afraid of Mounier. Mounier, who won 2 FS2 races in a row yesterday at Montreal. So he's definitely in a fired up sort of mood. And look at this, Lahou having to defend now into Brooklands and Luffield from Luca Gray, who after the last time he raced, of course, he blew up the engine twice and had a horrible weekend at Snetterton. So he's very, very keen to fight back for Hunter Birch Simulation. And he's put in a good drive so far from 11th on the grid to get to 6th. But he wants a top 5 here. Wants to get in that challenge for the podium positions. And into Copse we go. Up the inside of Alex Lahou goes Luca Gray. And Lahou has nothing in response as Gray just about keeps it within track limits. Then they're going to go side by side then into Maggots and Beggots. Can Alex Lahou go all the way around the outside of Luca Gray? Is Gray going to stick his foot in? He sticks his nose and goes off track completely. And into the gravel goes the Hunter Birch number 56. So that is going to hand it back to Lahou then. And potentially Horvath will breeze through as well because that's going to destroy Luca Gray's momentum here. There we go. Through goes the Frinavon driver. So let's look at the lap times, by the way. Mounier sets a purple first sector, a tenth quicker than Pleiss, but and then he's another tenth quicker through sector 2. So Mounier might be about to set fastest lap of the race, but unfortunately, it's only going to be 3 tenths potentially that he takes out of Yannick Pleiss as a 5.5 second lead.
Yeah, definitely an impressive drive after the impressive qualifying.
Hey, just so far up the road. There we go. So Mounier does set fastest lap of the race, 209.6, 3 tenths quicker. The gap's still 5.2 seconds then. So Mounier might be able to close before the pit window opens up for those on the soft tyre. Nielsen as well is on a similar strategy. He's just ahead of Hargitay in 12th position. He's 2.1 seconds behind Pajal in the second McNuggy's car. But of course, for the new team, this is looking good as Gray is overcome by Van Leeuwen. So Luca Gray, one mistake has really snowballed and made him lose a lot of ground he had been working hard to make up here. It was probably a bit risky to go side by side with Alex Lahou, but here we go. He's trying to fight back against Van Leeuwen as down right is lurking menacingly. I think Peter Schumann has hit trouble near the back as Gray into the side of Van Leeuwen and just about rescues that one, but up the inside will go down right in the Crown Dental Group car. And a free position once more for down right as Luca Gray continues to tumble down the order and makes another mistake, dips a wheel into the gravel.
Yeah, I don't think Schoenemann made the right decision there with the early start.
Yeah,
it looks like the softs holding up quite a bit.
Yeah, especially if you look at Moinier's lap times. He was another 2/10 quicker in the first sector than Yannick Pleiss. So it looks like Moinier could still be a threat here as we look at Luca Gray. Muscling his way back past Darren Wright, actually. Into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. So Gray hasn't given up, that's for sure. And he's got to get back on song with Van Leeuwen. Look at the gap between Horvath and Lehoux. That's where Luca Gray would ideally want to be. But the only problem is that Horvath is being slipstreamed by Van Leeuwen, and Van Leeuwen attempts to make a move on his teammate here. They're both members of Finavon Green. It looks like Van Leeuwen is going to be hung out to dry around the outside by Mark Horvath as they bump into one another, and that opens the door potentially for Luca Gray. The slipstream then past Horvath as Van Leeuwen fights back into club. Here we go. Gray's going to have the inside into turn one as Moinier sets another fastest lap. 4.8 seconds, the gap between himself and Yannick Pleiss. And here we go. They're still side by side then as we go down through farm and into village and the loop. Oh, double move from Luca Gray, but way too deep there. He's going to have to back out there. And that potentially could allow Darren Wright to go around the outside of him. And he just gets forced off by Horvath there.
And there comes Neuendorf.
Oh, look at this. Neuendorf up the inside of Darren Wright as Gray once more goes off track and loses 2 more positions. But there we go. Good racecraft and awareness from Peter Neuendorf to gain 2 positions there. Well, who's that in the background? That must be the other McNuggy's car, isn't it? A Pajal now trying to make a move on Luca Gray. But Gray holds him off for now as look at this. Neuendorf slides the rear out. And once more, Darren Wright and Luca Gray do battle. But they're both just sort of being shuffled down the pack, aren't they, to 9th and 10th. Luca Gray was looking good for a top 6 earlier. And now he just keeps making mistakes, doesn't he? And that's costing him time. You see Oliver Hargitay isn't far behind either, behind Stefan Nilsson in the background. He could potentially catch up to this group.
Almost halfway into the race, and we have from P6 to P12 within 3 seconds. It's going to be interesting what the stops going to make out of this. But definitely good.
Yeah, you'd think those on the mediums would run a lot longer than those on the softs then, and switch to the softs later on. Was that Luca Gray lagging out there, and that puts him down to 11th then. That's a shame, because there was no fault of his own. Blanking down the straight's one of the worst places for that to happen as well, and that drops him behind Pajal now. So Luca Gray with much more work to do. He's exactly back where he qualified now, just ahead of Nilsson. Around the outside he goes on Pajal into the Vale chicane, and Luca Gray not quite able to get the overlap he needs as Moinier continues his pursuit of Yannick Pleiss. He's taken a second out of Yannick, so it's 4.1 seconds the gap. But meanwhile, Hartley is dropping away from the back of Bradley Sellers to the tune of 8 seconds. And he's got Lehoux for company as well. Just 3/10 behind him, of course. Here they are in the battle for 4th position. Max Lehoux doing well. I think both of them have got 70. Well, no, it's slightly more ballast for Lehoux, isn't it? Because he's a substitute driver. Yep. Not done any of this season so far, whereas Hartley's second in the championship. As one of the Finavons goes all the way off track there and rejoins. That must be Horvath, I think. And Neuendorf might fancy a run in top 7. Actually was Van Leeuwen. You're right there, Pascal. Van Leeuwen then. Now has got to defend from Peter Neuendorf. Tries to get the pot racer car, number 66. It's leading the Independence Championship. Past at least one of the Finavons. Van Leeuwen desperate not to lose any more ground here in this sort of second group. And here we go. Luca Gray making another attempt to go around the outside of Pajal into Cop's corner. This could be a little bit tight. Side by side, Gray turns in from the outside there. No fear shown from the Hunter Birch driver. And there we go. Risks being taken. And Luca Gray gets back into the top 10. Here we go. Stefan Nilsson, the second of our 2 soft runners at the moment. He's been closing in. He was lapping faster than both Gray and Pajal the last couple of laps. You see somebody kicking up dust, and it's Luca Gray once more. He cannot get the exit Chapel right. Oh, and he lags out again. And drops. That could be Luca Gray out of the race then. And indeed it is. So clear connection suffering then. As here we go, Alex Lahou up the inside of Louis Hartley for 4th position there. A textbook move. And Louis Hartley has to cooperate with 10 laps to go then. 28. His lap time still looking very, very strong. He's got the gap down to Yannick Pleiss to 2.5 seconds now. He's halved the gap then. But it'll be interesting when they pit whether Moynier is as strong once he switches to the soft tyres. And it looks like the first driver, apart from Schoenemann, to switch tyre compound is going to be Thomas Raschke. He is going to switch to the softs then with 9 laps to go. So we look at Van Leeuwen holding off Neuendorf and right. And there's Hargitay making a move on Pajard then. So he's picked up the slack now that Luca Gray's out of the race. He gets himself into the top 10 there. Good move from Oliver. So clearly he found a way to fix his
Nice
headphones.
run for Nielsen. He might be able to get onto the back of Pajard and
Nielsen on the soft tyres. And look at Neuendorf moving to the inside to defend from down right then. Nielsen not quite got the run he needed. Challenge the McNuggies car. But the Swede will regroup here as Neuendorf fighting away with down right, who has a little peek up the inside through left field, but isn't quite close enough to execute that maneuver. Meanwhile, Loic Moynier gains another 10th on Yannick Pleiss. I wonder if Loic Moynier might run on the softs as long as possible here to sort of limit any damage that Pleiss can do once he gets on the softs. Because the tyre life is a lot better than expected.
Yep, definitely.
Raschke could be interesting with his undercut because he has come out, let's see, 22 seconds behind Schoenemann. But we'll have to see what his second sector time is like compared to the leaders.
It's
Compared to Loic Moynier will be interesting. Say
5
again?
seconds behind Schoenemann. It's not
He's
22,
5
it's
seconds.
5. Yep.
Yeah,
So-
sorry, it's just that race view is acting up because it struggles to sort of figure out where people are. I think he was 22 seconds behind when he pit, so he was ahead of Zazielski, wasn't he? Just before he pit. As look at this, Hartley still shadowing Alex Lahou, and then only about 2 seconds behind Bradley Solis then. So there's a big fight for third going on in this race. Meanwhile, Wright, Neuendorf, Van Leeuwen, and Horvath all dueling away for 6th as well, within about a second and a half from 6th to 9th.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a 35 seconds pit stop. So Schoenemann would be, I guess, around
57.7 sector 2 for Thomas Raschke on the soft tyre. So that's about 3/10 off of what Moynier was doing in the second sector there. 2.4 seconds the gap between himself and Pleiss then. Or 2 seconds flat, actually, I should say. So he's continuing to gain, but the pace is sort of starting to drop off a bit on those soft tyres. So we might see Moynier in the pit sooner rather than later. As look at that. Defensive manoeuvres from Van Leeuwen there into Brooklands. And if Van Leeuwen is holding this group up, it could put Oliver Hargitay into play here. As look, Neuendorf just cuts across in front of down right there, who's starting to get a bit frustrated down in 9th, you can tell. Look at this, Moynier actually, I don't think had a strong middle sector there, because he's actually lost almost half a second then to Pleiss. Despite being 2/10 quicker in sector 1, as Wright goes very wide actually through Copse, and so too does Neuendorf.
Yeah, I wonder if Pleiss is starting to feel the pressure now. But he does have the soft tires for his second stint.
57.4 for Moynier. I wonder if Pleiss is just pushing a little bit to try and build more of a gap before his pit stop here. On lap, almost about to go into lap 10 of 17 then. Raschke, meanwhile, that's a 35.7, which is equal to what Pleiss is doing in the lead. Down in 19th position, so he's about 4.4 seconds behind Peter Schoenemann, who, reminder, has already made his stop. And here we go, Lahou and Hartley are in. They are the first to pull the trigger of the lead group. So, and Leeuwen is following them in. Anybody else going to take the plunge here with 7 laps to go? Stefan Nielsen is. So Nielsen has decided the softs are starting to wear here. So I think we could see Loic Moynier in before too long as well for his hard tyres, or mediums, I should say. Go, fascinating stuff then. Hartley had just set his fastest lap of the race, by the way, 2:10.1 as Lahoo gets going first. There is Louis Hartley just in the front of your picture here, and he's going to get released just behind Alex Lahoo then. So crucial for KV86 to get the Frenchman out ahead. Lahoo is through. Where's he going to merge in the order? That behind looks like Szylski, I believe. Lahoo is now Morel, sorry, in the Speed Eagles car. He's behind Szylski and Nick Homewood, crucially.
And Schoenemann 10 seconds behind them.
Yes,
Considering where he started, it's not that bad though, considering where he started. He avoided a lot of traffic.
They are going to be ahead of Nielsen and Van Leeuwen as well. Raschke is only about 1.6 behind Schoenemann. Cole McMillan has also dropped behind them as well, as we see Nielsen get a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's a shame for Staffan. He was having a solid race up to that point. Van Leeuwen has done the same thing. Here we go. It is a very tricky pit entry at Silverstone. Very easy to get your braking wrong, and it's also because it's a lot slower than the normal pit lane. If you haven't got the, if you're not used to the typical speed limiter, it can catch you out.
On this mod, it's 100, I think, actually.
Yeah, middle sector, Yannick Pleiss was 4/10 quicker than Moynier. It was Moynier was 3/10 quicker in the first sector, but it's the second sector with those Maggots Beckett's Chapel that's really hurting Loic Moynier here on the soft tyre. I think he's got to come in, hasn't he?
Already lost more time there. Must have filled up his car or something by accident, because that's not a normal stop time.
Yeah, Bradley Sellers is coming in. And looks like Nurendorf is joining him as somebody kicks up some dust. In comes Hargitay as well. Orvath is in. Darren Wright, Loic Moynier and Yannick Pleiss all stay out. Let's hope they all know that they have to make a pit stop. Surely they're just waiting for much later in the race to do it then. But surely this is going to promote Lahoo and Hartley a couple of positions. Homewood is running very long as well, it seems. Nope, Homewood is coming in, as I said. So it's Serema in the other Crown Dental group that's also staying out.
I'm surprised about
I believe there was a driver's briefing beforehand where they were all told, weren't they, about this first race.
I'm surprised about Munier still being out with his soft tires.
Anyway, looks like... Oh, as Bradley Sellers going to split Lahoo and Hartley. There we go. He comes out just ahead of Louis Hartley. So that must have been a good final few laps on the hard tyre from Bradley Sellers while Hartley was being stuck behind Lahoo.
Yeah,
there
but he was in front of
Lahoo
when he came, like before the pit stops, I think. So he lost.
So he's been undercut essentially.
Yep.
There we go. But that is not good for Louis Hartley because he was really hoping to get in front of Bradley Sellers there, and it's backfired. This also means that Lahoo could potentially get an undercut on Moynier as well, depending on how long the pit... It's about 30 seconds for a pit stop here, isn't it?
I think 30, 35, something around that time.
Yeah, so Lahoo, let's have a look. He's about 39 seconds down at the moment, and he's closing on that pit window. Look, purple first sector then, 35.2. So he's 4/10 quicker than both Pleiss and Moynier. And Louis Hartley looking a bit frustrated to be stuck behind Bradley Sellers there, but still could be on for a good result depending on how things play out here. And looks like Moynier has gone for the pits then, but Pleiss is staying out. Look at that. Bradley Sellers hanging the rear out completely. I don't know how he saved that one. But this is going to allow Louis Hartley to get a run on him down the hanger straight towards Stowe then. Building up speed then into 6th gear. 230 kilometers per hour. And they go into the braking zone, but he's a little bit too far back to mount a challenge then. Down right, Alexander Serema from KV80, from Crown Dental Group also come in. So this is crucial. Can Lahoo get anywhere near to the back of Moynier? Moynier is coming out the pits now. And he's going to be on the hard tyres, remember. So this is going to be slightly trickier for him. Out the pit he comes. Lahoo is nowhere to be seen. There he is, just coming into frame now. So that's worked out pretty well for Loic Moynier. Now he can push these hard tyres as Lahoo sets fastest lap of the race. 2 minutes, 8 seconds, 0.8.
I think Pleiss should come in now. Just to cover up Moynier.
That's very, very true. But course, Pleiss now has that 34-second gap, isn't it? So it could be a little bit closer. Sarema gets a penalty from speeding in his pit stop there. So there are a lot of free drivers then, I think, who are going to really, really lose out here, aren't they? From speeding in the pit lane. And that's Nielsen. Was it Van Leeuwen?
That's the
And
thing
now
where you
it's
can gain half a
Sarema.
second or lose 15 seconds for the drive-through.
Exactly. So pushing that a little bit too hard can cost you. Bradley Sellers, interestingly, dips into the 34.9s on his soft tyres as Zielski jukes it out into Brooklands, goes side by side with Dan Wright. Wright has not had a good first few laps on this soft tyre because he has just dropped outside the top 10 down to 13th position now, isn't it? With Zielski getting through. Or is that Sarema? Sorry, that's Sarema just behind, who's yet to serve the penalties. Pleiss now comes into the pit, so this is going to be absolutely critical as Dan Wright is now trying to go around the outside of Peter Schoenemann. Remember Schoenemann with that massive undercut. There we go, 5 laps to go, and Schoenemann is now outside of the top 10 as Dan Wright, just about completes the move there. Schoenemann had to concede. Pleiss, though, stationary in the pits. Moynier is coming for him. So where on earth? Let's see, 56.6 in the middle sector there, so he was 4 attempts quicker. But it's not quite going to be... I think he might come out just a second behind Yannick Pleiss then, once he gets to the end of the pit lane. Where is the McNuggies car? Here it is. Oh, that's speeding in the pit lane for sure on the exit there. So he comes out. There we go, about 2 or 3 seconds ahead then. Yeah, 2.7 seconds, but... I'd be very surprised if we don't see Yannick Pleiss getting a penalty very soon.
No, he would
because...
have already gotten it done. So it looks like it was okay.
Okay, so it's to be the exit that's okay to speed in, but not the entry. Okay, then that looked to me like he went full throttle before he crossed the white line. The next exit pit lane. Looks like Cole McMillan is coming into the pits again, as is Sarema to serve his penalty. But this means now Pleiss leads Moynier by 2.6 seconds. But Pleiss and Moynier can really afford to push their tyres because Moynier's been on those hards only 1 lap. Sarema gets another penalty while serving his other penalty. So it just snowballs out of control for Crown Dental Group then. So the only other battles going on are LeHou versus Sellers, Hart and Hartley that we see on screen at the moment. Looks like Cole McMillan at last might be about to retire from the race then, as Morel is all over the back of Van Leeuwen. This is the battle to not finish last as McMillan gets yet another penalty. So he's done exactly what Sarema's done, hasn't he? On entry, just getting a little bit frustrated and making the same mistake again.
The grid quite spread out now.
Yeah, with the exception, of course, of LeHou, Sellers, and Hartley, who are all within 2 seconds of each other. Morel has been fended off by Van Leeuwen after Van Leeuwen's error earlier on. I would say Nurendorf and Hargitay have been the big gainers. Hargitay going from 19th to 8th, and I think Nurendorf has gone from just inside the top 10 to getting up to 7th then, staying out of the trouble and out of chaos. But Moynier will be desperate to try and mount a challenge here, but unfortunately he has been faster, but not fast enough to really mount a challenge against Pleiss, who now gets the gap up to 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think the soft tires are really kicking in now.
Yes, exactly. So this is where Moynier's strategy starts to turn against him a little bit.
But still going deep with the soft tires and managing a 2P2 after the pit stops is quite impressive as well.
And also impressive, LeHou able to get himself up to 3rd, ahead of Sellers and Hartley, despite the fact that he's got more ballast than both of them. Let's see, we go. Zielski is not done with Nick Homewood here. Or rather, is that Peter Schoenemann, of course, on the hards, the mediums. Sorry, I keep misreading
tires on the grid.
Yeah, Peter Schoenemann has been on those tyres 12 laps now. whereas Suzuki has been on these soft tyres just for 4, so they're giving much better peak performance here. So how much can Peter Schienemann defend that 12th position? Tries to force Suzuki the long way around, but the Optiminal continues to challenge. Continues to try and force the issue here. This might be really the only battle we see in these last stages, although Bradley still is 7 tenths behind Lehoux, continuing to mount a challenge. Rashke has also gotten himself up into the top 10. So his undercut has actually worked quite well for him ahead of Darren Wright, and he's right behind Pajoud as well.
Yeah, quite a decent drop from Rushka.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm quite surprised actually. Great to see the Goaltacular and the Burt Simulation teams both in the top 10. At least one car. Suzuki now closes.
Might have a good run here now.
Yeah, you can see the advantage of those fresher soft tyres as Pleiss sets the fastest lap of the race, unsurprisingly 2 minutes 8.6. I didn't quite see what Monier's last lap was because it disappeared as soon as I clicked on it. And here he goes, Suzuki to the outside at Stowe. He surely got Peter Schienemann here. Schienemann tries to push him wide onto the curb, but Suzuki holds his nerves, holds the inside then into Vale chicane. And there we go, 12th position is his. So it's now 4.6 seconds to Darren Wright. So that might be the best that Suzuki can do there.
Nice and hard racing there.
The closest battle on track is, I believe, Rashke versus Pajoud. Look at Morel chasing Van Leeuwen for 16th position. And the points go down to top 10, don't they?
I cannot say for sure right now.
That's great. You're very useful as always, Pascal. Always got all the answers.
Yep.
I could always just look up results myself if need be, and the standings. But anyway, 2 laps to go, and it's hard to see where the next bit of entertainment is really going to come from now.
Because, yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to the next race. Oh, everyone on soft tyres. It's gonna be.
Yeah, everyone prefers them, don't they? Rashke is about 10th per lap quicker than Pajoud, but Pajoud has fought back in the first sector here on his fresher tyres. So I think that might be that battle just simmering down to a close. Schienemann staying within 3 tenths of Suzuki, so doing his best on the hards, hoping that all the soft runners wear out and get to sort of his level of tyre wear. Moynier continues to be caught in the sort of low 209s by Alex Lehoux and company. But Yannick Pleiss looks like well on his way to victory here, just extending that gap by over a second that lap actually. Loic Moynier in the 210s and Lehoux also in the 210s as well. But it's actually Bradley Sellers who's the big threat here in the battle for third.
It's gonna be interesting who can save the softs the most in the second race, and I'm sure we're gonna have a nice train going on once again after the race start.
Indeed. And here we go. Darren Wright is starting to fight back against Thomas Rashke as well. Rashke goes wide. Here we go. Rashke, who pit 2 or 3 laps before Darren Wright. In fact, yeah, quite a way before Darren Wright in the scheme of things. So he's got the much fresher tyres. He's up the inside into the loop and Aintree. And that's Darren Wright back into the top 10 though. So Rashke maybe he has had his tyres fall off the cliff here. Yep, Darren Wright pit 4 laps ago. Rashke pit 8 laps ago, so it was a 4-lap difference.
Sellers closed in a bit more now on Lehoux as well, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough. There has to be, I think, a mistake from Lehoux.
I think I agree with you there, Pascal. Looking a little bit unlikely. Sellers is going to press on regardless. He's not had the best of races, but he's still got time to turn things around.
Had a better exit. And now some slipstream down the straight.
Here we go. And Bradley Sellers challenge into Stowe corner. He's a little bit too far back. Just another lap to go then. And Yannick Pleiss is going to be nearly 8 seconds then ahead of Loic Meunier.
He's definitely in a
Very
good position
dominant.
to make something happen now, I feel like.
Yeah, here we go. So Bradley Sellers setting himself up for the final lap of the race. Remember, Alex Lahou's got that 75 kilograms of ballast. Bradley Sellers is, I think, about 5th or 6th in the standings, isn't he? If I remember correctly.
Should be half the ballast of anything of Lahou.
Bradley Sellers 6th, so he has got 33 kilograms of ballast. But here we go, into the loop and the village section. Bradley Sellers breaks to the outside, tries to set himself up for his exit there as Lahou sort of was trying to almost get a bit defensive there. And here we go down the Wellington Straight then in towards Brooklands. No DRS, of course, in these British touring cars. So they've got to find a way to use the fuel mix to their advantage. And the tyres, of course. Sellers has got fresher tyres than Lahou as well. But are they already starting to fade then after 7 laps? Down right, here he is on the back of Pajald. And this is a great comeback from the Crown Dental Group driver. Down right, challenging into Brooklands. The red and yellow car not able to overcome the McNuggies. And you can see Rashke just following the pair of them, trying to make an impression, but a little bit too far back on those worn tyres. As here's Bradley Sellers, and this could be his final opportunity then. Lahou knows it. As they go through Maggots, Bakers and Chapel, Meunier struggling to hold on to second position here on those very slow, hard tyres. But here comes the move from Bradley Sellers. It's going to be now or never, as Pleiss is just moments away from winning race 1 here for McNuggies, their first win of the season. Bradley Sellers, though, he's going to be able to cut to the inside and brake late enough. Now he's just that little bit too far back. So that could be it then, unless there's a kamikaze move into Vale. The Pleiss, here we go. Any moment now, we'll cross the line to win race 1 here at Silverstone. A brilliant drive from the Operation McNuggies driver, Yannick Pleiss, putting in a fabulous performance there to win by almost 10 seconds over Loic Meunier. But here we go. Bradley Sellers tries to get alongside. He's going to be just short of third position there. And somebody's fan went off there. It was yours, Pascal. I thought that was you going, ooh.
Nope.
No,
very impressive drive from
excited about anything. But here comes the battle for 9th position then. Pajard is just going to hold off Darren Wright, but Wright is very close. He's going to cut to the inside. In fact, Darren Wright is going to take that 9th position off of Stanislas Pajard by all 13,000 a second then. Oh my goodness me, what a fantastic recovery from Darren Wright there, and P9 is his reward. But, wow, here we go. This Funeman, did the gamble pay off? He's sort of about where he would have been before he made the gamble to go to the hards, isn't he? But I think if you haven't got the pace, undercutting in a one-stop race is an option. If we look at Nielsen, after his penalty, he's going to finish in 15th position for last stint racing. At least he wasn't last stint. But anyway, this, of course, helps Loic Meunier in the championship because Pleiss was not really a threat to him. And Lahou also impressing. So KV86 Powerhouse really saved their race with some good strategy there as Morel just beat Surema, who had to serve 2 penalties there for speeding in the pit lane.
We didn't even have any incidents, so gonna be interesting what I can get out of the replays now. What do we have?
Let's see the events of race 1 in short. We're into race 2 coming up pretty shortly as well. So we're going to rewatch the start then of this 17-lap encounter then. So here's Loic Meunier. We can see from a distance. That is Louis Hartley and Lahou alongside Meunier. It's Hartley, Sellers, and Pleiss ahead of him.
And Pleiss already
Meunier muscles his way ahead.
A gap into the first 2 corners.
Oh, and then there we go. That was that moment from Louis Hartley that left him a bit vulnerable. And this is where Moynier really took advantage then. Remember, he made this brilliant round the outside move, didn't he, on Bradley Sellers. So there we go, Sellers. So the move not quite working out. Moynier gets into the slipstream behind Hartley and then tries to get alongside into Brooklands. He sees the gap opening up on the inside, goes side by side with Bradley Sellers. And there, this is where he has to go the long way round, of course, which is very, very tough to do. But of course, he has just enough overlap. And then he gets the exit out of left field, which means he can just about insert himself around the outside, of course, using a lovely bit of slipstream from the back of Louis Hartley as well, additionally. But of course, that battling early on in the race kind of hurt him as well, because it meant that he couldn't really get ahead of Yannick Pleiss, which he really needed to do to get his strategy to work. As this is Nilsson and Sarema getting in trouble with Hargitay alongside them. A little bit of contact between Sarema and Nilsson. So Hargitay tries to go around the outside to avoid it more than anything. And he's going to get himself up the inside. Barging into the side of Alexander Sarema there as Nilsson has a terrible exit. And this really opened the door for the Hunter Birch Gold-tacular car. We move on to a few laps later. This is Gray's retirement then. So he must have had a disconnection or some sort of a wheel issue potentially. You can have a look at the Hunter Birch chat.
Think we're gonna...
He just says he won't be in voice chat for race 2, so he's clearly not in a good mood. And Thomas Rashi says, I'm so useless that I pitted so early that I got 6 positions with the undercut, only lost 1 with the worn tyres. So Thomas doesn't sound too disappointed. And this is Van Leeuwen. Is this when he sped in the pit lane?
I think it was still a decent race from Roschke.
So we're going to see the reverse grid for race 2. It's unusual, of course.
Oh, so close to 15th.
So that's 7th place, which was who finished 7th again?
Oh yeah, we didn't even do the results. We should do that.
Oh, you didn't give me a chance.
Yes, it's true.
Okay, I think. Oh, I can read through the results on the race view.
I think I have them for you anyway. Do I?
Yeah, here we go. Yannick Pleiss takes victory then by 10.1 seconds over Loic Moynier. Alex Lahou is third, 1.3 seconds behind. Then it's Bradley Sellers in fourth, just a tenth behind Lahou. Louis Hartley is fifth, 3 seconds down on the pair of them. Then it is Mark Horvath who takes sixth position for Finnevon. Peter Neuendorf, seventh, the independent pot racer driver. Oliver Hargitay recovers from 19th to 8th. Then is Darren Wright in 9th, just 13 thousandths ahead of Stanislas Bajald. Thomas Raschke is 11th. Zistov Szylski is 12th. Peter Schumann 13th. Nick Homewood 14th. Stefan Nilsson 15th. Thijs van Leeuwen 16th. Marcin Morel is a lap down in 17th. Sarema is then 18th. Paul McMillan, I think, is our last finisher, with Luca Gray failing to finish the race. So that puts Peter Neuendorf on reverse grid pole from Mark Horvath then. So Oliver Hargitay just misses out, annoyingly.
Definitely a popular reverse pole, I would say. Would be very nice if we would see 2 new winners in those 2 races, but
winner, you're right.
It's gonna be hard. I think Neuendorf does have the capabilities, but having Hargitay right behind him is gonna be a tall order for sure.
It certainly is. So shall we take a short break, I guess, until race 2 starts, or is it going to be in a few minutes or so?
I think we're only gonna set the grid.
Okay, we may as well just keep going, I guess. So if Yannick Pleiss is he our 7th new winner this season, or is he our 6th new winner? Because we had all 3 of the KV86s have won races. With Lahou yet to win, but he will have a lot less ballast in race 2 than race 1, so he should be interesting. And sort of a 4th on the grid, I think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get ballast for the top 10 now. So Play should have the most.
Yeah, and with the reset ballast, it could really mix up the order once more and reward, especially those with good tyre wear, with everyone being on the softs for these. Is it race 2 and 3 that everyone's on the softs?
We're definitely looking forward to that.
Oh, certainly, me too. Let's see if there's any interesting comments in the chat. I somewhat doubt it, given our viewing figures. So that Joshua Birch is live streaming commentary for practice for the Indy 500 at the moment. This is why he's not here. 6 people watching. Here we go. Joshua Dexter says, "Is that Thomas Raschke?"
The man, the myth, the legend.
182 Craigie says Silverstone, and then about 12 exclamation marks. Kai Kira says, "I love Loic Monnier and Alice Lehuz." So he's making fun of my pronunciations there, I think. But they never corrected me, so I assume I'm doing it right.
Are you talking about Lehu? I think it's not too far away, but I couldn't tell you.
Oh, I don't want to call him Leho because that sounds like a
Just stop being
like
French
something
is
else.
my suggestion.
That's never been a problem for me.
No, I mean Lehu. If you want
Oh,
his
right,
name
okay.
pronounced correctly.
Well, I'm not sure he has the option of a different kind of citizenship, unfortunately, for him.
Do we have anyone who's not back in the survey yet? I think we had 19 people. No, I think we had 20 actually. So someone's missing.
Luke Gray's there.
Yep.
Who is?
Macmillan is there too, who had the DNF.
Oh, he did have a DNF? Sorry, he must have retired quite late on. Zielski's there. Is Darren Wright there? I don't see Darren Wright
And there
anywhere.
he is. Yeah, you were right. Right.
You were right. Yeah, good pun. See, you can bring the funny back. The moment calls for it. 9 people watching, and one of them is me. But
I'm not one of them, I think.
yeah, I'm just doing something else in the background while I'm waiting for the warm-up session to end, by the way. So I hope I don't
Nick
come across as rude.
5 minutes, so I don't mind doing a short break.
Okay, sure thing. Let's do that then. On the other side, we'll be back for race 2 here at Silverstone.
Looks like we're about to get ready for the second race.
Okay. Still 20 minutes of warm-up left.
No, I think Nick is just setting the grid and then we're going.
Alright, I better turn on the light because it's starting to get dark where I am, and I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Hello and welcome back to Silverstone for the second of our 3 races here. Of course, a very special event because race 1, everyone had to run both compounds of tyres and there was a pit stop consequently for all the drivers. Race 2 will be a slightly shorter race, but everyone will have to use the softer tyre. Which, of course, will be interesting because it did seem to lead to some wear issues at the end of stints. And we have a reverse top 7, essentially. So it will be independent driver... What's his name again? This is embarrassing. Peter Neuendorf, of course, yeah. For pot racer, number 66, he will start on pole position with the Finnevond of Mark Horvath alongside him. It'll be interesting to see how they...
2 races today, because first one is basically 1 and 2, and this is technically race 3 now.
Oh, okay, so this is the final one. Okay, good. Because I haven't got all day. But anyway, you excited for this one, Pascal?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone on the same tires. We saw how tight the field was, up to like lap 7 or 8 at least. Should be very interesting.
Looks like a couple of drivers are trying to run on the mediums. It's not allowed.
I would advise them against it.
Okay.
Do we have anyone on mediums right now?
Right, we could just realize one of those was my driver, so I quickly sent a message saying soft's mandatory. He seems to have got it now. Yannick Pleiss still on the hard, so concerningly for him. And Zielski as well. Let's hope. They are both in... Pleiss is on the grid and not in the pits, so it might be a bit late for him to change those tyres, so he could be
No, it looks like everyone is on the softs.
Okay, there we go. So then, Neuendorf, Horvath, Hartley, Sellers, Lahou, Moynier, Pleiss, Hargitay, Wright, and Pajard is your top 10. Wait for the lights to go out. No warm-up lap here. And away we go for the final race of the day then. And Neuendorf is able to make a decent getaway, but it's Hartley that goes through the middle of his teammate Horvath and Neuendorf to try and snatch the lead here into turn 1. Can everyone get through here cleanly? Hartley going for the lead here. Neuendorf is going to be hung out to dry around the outside there. And also struggles to get it turned in then, as we see Bradley Sellers is trying to make a move up the inside then of Mark Horvath for third as well. But crucially, Louis Hartley takes the lead in this second and final race then, as all the 2 KV86 powerhouses go side by side. Remember, similar ballast in both cars now. So Lahou challenging Moynier. Oh, and one of the Honda Birches is in the wall. That's Gray and Zielski that have come together down the Wellington straight there. So clearly there's been some side-on contact. And Gray is out before race 2 even really gets going, as Moynier drifts completely. And completely opens the door for Mark Horvath there. But somehow he's going to try and go back around the outside of him. And I think Luca Gray is indeed very, very upset with how that race started. He says, I cannot be bothered. And hard to blame him, really.
Well, a lot of things this season have been self-inflicted, so I can't pass any judgment on this right now. We're going to have to see in the replays.
I don't see how race 1 was self-inflicted with the connection issue.
Oh yeah, but I mean, 2 engine blows in 2 races.
Looks like Zielski has called it a day as well. Yeah, okay, I will agree about Snetterton, but only reluctantly. Now look at this. So Hartley has got a half a second, 7 tenths lead over Neuendorf. Bradley still is yet to pass Neuendorf for second. Moynier is holding on to fourth from Horvath. Lehoux has been overtaken by Horvath. Pleiss still in seventh then for the McNuggies team. Oh, as Horvath has a little bit of wobble over the curbs. Looks like Hargitay is challenging Yannick Pleiss for... No, that's Schoenemann going through up into 8th position then. It's a good move by Peter Schoenemann, who in fact wasn't quite able to complete the move. As Nilsson is holding up a pack of cars behind him as well, including Pachard and Van Leeuwen. I think Nick Homer is just ahead of that group. There we go. Louis Hartley completes the first lap, 8/10 ahead of Neuendorf. And the softs are all working well now, but let's see as the race goes on who is able to keep them alive for longest in this 8-lap encounter then. So you cannot afford to just chew through them. Bradley Stillers now trying to line up Neuendorf. Then Neuendorf goes off track for Aintree. And they barge wheels as they go onto the Wellington Straight. And that really hurts Neuendorf, who has to do some grass cutting as he rejoins now down in 6th position behind Alex Lehoux, and Pleiss might even have a go at him up the inside as well into Brooklands. And indeed he does so. So lots of places lost for Peter. And to be fair, I think he was trying to turn in too tightly from the outside.
I think so too, yeah.
Honestly. That was probably Bradley Sellers' corner every day of the week, really. But there we go. Now the gap for Hartley is 1 second over Bradley Sellers. So Sellers could still come back here, as he threatened to do. He did beat Louis Hartley in that first race, didn't he? Now he's got Loic Moynier all over the back of him to deal with.
Yeah, and still the top 10 within 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's that pack of Sellers, Moynier, Horvath, Lehoux, Pleiss, Neuendorf, Hargitay, Schoenemann, and Wright. Sort of second through to 10th for all pretty close to each other within about 3 seconds, which is obviously it's only lap 2, of course, so they will start to spread out naturally. But look at this, Sellers now. He's not really catching Louis Hartley. Hartley's making hay at the moment. And it's Moynier that's starting to challenge, as we see, is that Hargitay up the inside of Neuendorf into Stowe corner. Good move from the Hunter Birch Goldtacular. As oh dear, he's going in the pits. So is there perhaps something wrong with that car?
I don't think he got a penalty, but maybe he thinks there's another pit stop. I'm not sure.
I did say soft mandatories. I didn't really have enough time to explain the rules, so...
Let's see if he stops or if he just goes through.
Yeah, he might have missed the driver's briefing because he was doing the earmuff thing that he was trying to repair.
Yeah, but
it looks like just drive through.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody kicking up dust in the background looked like a Finn of Ond. Whoever's behind Neuendorf, it's Schoenemann. And now Darren Wright passes Schoenemann for 8th position as Moynier is sizing up Bradley Sellers then for 2nd position. They go down the Wellington Straight once more, but that's a big shame for Hargitay, because he was really Hunter Birch's best chance of points now that Luca Gray is out. And now he's come back in 12th position, 2.7 seconds behind Vise Van Leeuwen. Nick Homewood, though, is promoted into the top 10 as Moynier is just looking for that opening, waiting for it to appear as look behind. Horvath makes a mistake, which allows Alex Lehoux to get right in tight behind him, but he's dragging Yannick Pleiss with him. So this is starting to go Pleiss' way, isn't it? He's starting to show that pace that he showed in race 1 once again. And Lehoux has got his hands full here and his mirrors as well. Oh, look at Pleiss going almost off track there.
Oh no, that was Moynier who went deep with his soft tires, so he has the biggest experience, I guess, out of the field with how you need to handle them to go long.
Very good point, Pascal. So Loic will be kind on his tires, potentially, and the others might be a little rougher than they can get away with. Hargitay, obviously he says that he set a purple fast lap of the race, but that's because he went into the pit lane, of course. So to the outside comes Lehoux on Mark Horvath. Horvath brakes early. Lehoux goes all the way around the outside into Stowe. That was a brave move on the brakes around the outside, and he now needs to hold on then just through Vale and Club as Horvath is swarming around to try and hold back Yannick Pleiss. And he's just about been able to do so, but the wheels lift over that curb through Club. Out of the Vale chicane then. Looks like Rashke has hit trouble because Sorema has passed him.
When you drop back a little bit from Sellers, but nothing significant
Or
yet.
tenths then, perhaps that's just him saving his tyres for later on, knowing how much he lost earlier on. But here comes Rashke. Oh, the rear hanging out through turn 1. And full marks for the Formula Drift impression there for Thomas Rashke, but no points for 17th position. So he has to find a way around the outside of Alexander Saroma, bumps into the back of him while trying to cut underneath. And now sets himself up well for the Wellington Straight here as Bajard is able to get past Nilsson. Stefan Nilsson, who defended from Bajard the first couple of laps, as we look there at Hargitay trying to go round the outside then of Van Leeuwen. And off track goes homeward. So that promotes both of them into 10th and 11th. And Hargitay tries to go the long way around at left field, but goes a little bit too deep. I'll have to focus on his exit then as Nilsson. He's now got Morel going around the outside of him. So Stefan Nilsson struggling to hold on to 14th position. Morel has got a superior run in the Vauxhall. He's going to go around the outside before they get to Copsted. And Hargitay still keeping his foot in on Van Leeuwen. Can Hargitay get into the top 10? He had to go all the way off track there. So that might compromise his exit here, and indeed it does so. There is Stefan. Morel has just cut in front of him then into Maggots and Beckett's. As Hargitay gets a penalty for corner cutting, I believe. So that is a shame.
You went quite wide there. And you always get a track cut in that corner.
So we saw him come to the pits despite not having to serve a drive-through penalty. And now he's gotten a natural penalty.
I'm not sure if he
don't know what's going on with Oliver today,
to be honest.
Oh, he could have. It's weird that didn't show up on the screen.
I don't think I saw it, so maybe he got... Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Maybe he felt he jumped the start. Oh, well. It's a preemptive absolution then. There we go. Hargitay can continue to circulate, but he's not really going to be competing for very much. As look at this, Rashke continues to fight with Saroma for 16th position now. Here we go, round the outside. He's tried this move before into turn 1, and it didn't quite work out. Into farm he goes. And there we go. He's actually done very well to overcome Alexander Saroma there. So good move from Thomas Rashke as Horvath finds himself jumped now by Yannick Pleiss for 5th. And now Pleiss gets defensive, cuts to the middle of the road, the inside line into Brooklands. But unless he messes up on the brakes here, he's going to have that 5th position locked down. A little bit of grass cut up there, but no harm done for Yannick. Now he can chase after Alex Lahou, who is 1.7 seconds up the road, I should say. Bradley Stillers has started to set personal best laps of the race. He was at 3/10 quicker than Moynier the previous lap then, and 1.8 behind Louis Hartley then. So Hartley doesn't quite have this completely sewn up yet, but
yeah, I would assume
probably
he's
got just enough of a gap.
Yeah, I mean, he's managing his tires, is my assumption. There's the gap for that.
Yeah, look at this Van Leeuwen and Schoenemann. Now, Schoenemann's starting to drift a bit wide through Maggots and Beckett's. This could allow Fires Van Leeuwen and the sister Finnevon team to get through, but here comes the Hunter Birchgold Tacular of Hargitay that is probably heading for the pits to serve the corner cutting penalty as well. He gets into the slipstream. He's going to try and follow Van Leeuwen through. Van Leeuwen is through. Schoenemann just cuts around the outside, and Hargitay, he's already proving all the way to the right because he's heading for the pits. Almost certainly no, he's staying out another lap. Okay, interesting choice. And Van Leeuwen, though, will not care one jot because he is free into 9th position.